Another way that coaches are able to find players is through the prospect database and the player rankings. The difference is simply that the prospect database is going to contain all position players and all pitchers who, as we know, are unsigned players. Remember, you can update your college commitment to us and make sure that you have that information that's available on your report so that we know that you're signed or not. So it's important to keep that information up to date so that coaches are only looking at players who are committed or not. So if I'm a coach looking and I need a pitcher, I click on all pitchers. This will show me all unsigned pitchers. If I'm looking for a position player, all I have to do is come back here. This will sort every single column by position where I can come through and look at it. Maybe I'm looking for the best available arm, so I get the person in the system that throws the hardest. Or maybe I'm looking for the fastest runner, and we see that there's 3 players under a 2.6 who are obviously exceptional runners. So the prospect database is an easy tool for coaches to come through and find all players. And sometimes it's a tool for other players to come and see what their friends do, or an easier way for your family to locate you sometimes. If we want to get more specific on what coaches really use it for, we look on the rankings. When we first go to the rankings page, the first ranking that pulls up is a top 150 overall that includes all high school or 8th graders or players that still have high school eligibility remaining who are not in college yet. Those players show up regardless of being signed or unsigned in a top 150 list, as we see here. If I go all the way back to the top, you see that it shows me the top 5 or 6 players, depending on the height of my web browser. And I can scroll through here and compare players to one another. If I'm a college coach and I want to be very specific on what I'm looking for, then I can come through and sort the rankings. As a player, what's really important is that you want qualified information that helps you represent yourself to college coaches. So let's say that I'm Bella Norton, and the first thing I can do is show that I'm the number 1 overall rated player in the entire scout database, which means I have the highest index of anybody from the class of 2013 all the way down to the class of 2018. So as a 2016, that's obviously very impressive to coaches. If I'm a player who's not necessarily in the top 10 of the overall or the top 100 or top 150, what I want to do is I want to create a search that allows me to represent myself to coaches. So let's say that I want to see where I rank within the class of 2014 because I'm a 2014 position player. And so all I do is select 2014 and hit my search field. And now that you see, if I'm Kenzie Chapelier, I've positioned myself to where I'm ahead of a player who's going to DePaul, another one at number 6 who's going to another Division I school, and just behind players that have already committed to Division I schools. So if I'm the number 3 rated player in this particular search here, that gives me some feedback on what schools I need to be looking at, and it also helps schools understand that when they view me, that I fit into a certain category of players that have gone on and have committed to other Division I schools. So that helps coaches decide on players very, very easily. When you see, as we go down here, number 9, University of Florida, number 10, Georgia State University, number 11, Central Arkansas, number 12, Texas A&M, 13, Abilene Christian, all Division I schools. And so if I rank ahead of those players, that puts me in a special category that makes coaches take me a little bit more serious. If I want to click on search again, we'll see that I can narrow the search to unsigned players, all players, or signed players, so that maybe I want to position myself within a group of unsigned players. If I'm a 2014, I do that again. And now what we're going to see happen after a couple of seconds, the report refreshes, and you see that now Kenzie Chapelier moves up to the number 1 unsigned 2014 player in the database. So from a marketing standpoint for a player, she's able to position herself as the number 1 unsigned 2014 in the scout database with over 1,000 players in it.